Yo, it's Guido coming out with Tactics Talk. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in once again on this episode. We have Kapri 25 in his Stirrer Emil. Hold on. You guys like to see the tanks. I do that every time. You would think I'd have a checklist, would get ready for my videos or something. But no, we're just ad-lib. We're just going to go with it. Much like Kapri, just going with it with the Emil. He finally comes up to the middle. Looked like he was headed off to the right side there. I would have brought this thing to the middle right off the bat. There is 3 artillery, but my gosh, what a great spot for an Emil in this amazing turret. But then Kapri sort of makes an interesting decision. He comes up here and exposes his hold. He finds that guy. Down he goes. And we're going to come in here and we're going to rush a shot a little bit up into the upper plate. And then we're going to finally aim lower plate. And we get one, I think. And then we're goofing around. And holy cow, people are missing. And we finally get another shot in. And we get 581 out of that. 581. We do bounce one. And we tuck up against a rock. So the good news about this spot that he's taken is it's hard for the artillery to hit him there. They can splash him. Whereas if he was back here in this lower spot, he'd have only exposed the turret. And I think I would have come up this way, Kapri. But again, you may have taken some arty. The good news is the arty had probably already fired because the scrum for the hill had already happened. So I definitely would have been working the whatever I'm trying to say, turret a little bit more. And then we just sort of sit out here waiting for the clip to do its work, and we get a kill, and somehow we come away with that without any damage. The 3001 actually bounced off probably either the turret or the front of your hole right there, and now we're kind of sitting, and your team's in good shape. Look at this. We're 6-3, 6-3, and I probably would have forced a reload, but it looks like maybe you're thinking you're going to get a shot, so we'll try to get a shot in there and we bounce. And holy cow, we ate a 373 prototype shot, and that is exactly why you don't want to come out that sideways. Had you come out a little lower down here with just your turret showing, the prototype would not have got the shot. So we're on a reload, and we're down to 788 hit points. Team is winning now 6-3, and we're sitting here, and I'm thinking, all right, so this is really nice. We're in good shape here, so let's go get this hill. Get up the hill and start working shots. So I'm going to turn around a little bit and we're going to come up the hill. There you go. Other than the exposure to the T-28 and really the positioning on where you were taking your shots, which you got away with, looking really nice. And from here on it gets interesting because this part of the fight right here is what makes the difference between a 50% player and a 55+% player. How do I turn an advantage into a win? And how do I stop something like what's happening from happening, where all of a sudden it's even at 6-6? We have the good position, we have the hill. We haven't kept them off the island, but that's okay as long as the 3045M and the Scorpion are doing their job. So I'm not worried about being pushed over there. How do I turn this into a win? And we really spend a lot of time futzing around pushing tanks. And I see people do this a lot. There are occasions where using a dead tank as I was going to say camo, but as armor is a good idea. And the Carnarvon makes a really big mistake. Comes around that corner, finds you, and you pop him. Then the artillery, which is exactly why that spot is not very great. We lose a few more hit points right there. Back to the dead tanks. I see people do it a lot. It has its moments where it's a good idea. But I think right now it's not really what you should be doing. I'd be moving around looking for shots. Up behind you where the 2801 is finding some shots. This thing has amazing depression. It can actually shoot people who are hugging the wall down there. You're going to have to be really careful because of the artillery and the proto. The other thing I'll say right here is we're kind of goofing around in this part of the game where we really need you to be out there making the win happen, is take a look at your clip. Wow. That should have been reloaded a long time ago, and I'm going to notice this quite a bit on this replay. You're not really paying very close attention to your clip, so a little bit of mismanagement on that. You're going to really want those 4 shots, I think, and you have so much time right here. So if we're going to be waiting, if we're going to sit and wait and see what's going on, hey, fine, that's the plan, got it. It's a close game. Don't want to expose myself too much to arty. I would be more active looking around, but there you go. But if you're going to do that, then hey, take the opportunity to clip out. Or not clip out, but to reclip. Reload, whatever you want to call it. I was a little bit surprised with 3 arty in the game that they all 3 lasted this long. It looks like one of them finally decided to do a little bit of counter because he just took out the M44. So that was a bit surprising. I would have expected a couple of them to be dead, or maybe one on each side. So now we're finally kind of moving around. Be careful about moving tanks. Try not to if you can not, especially enemy tanks. If that player happens to be sitting in his tank, you may let them know that it just moved. Now we're going to come this way, which this is just map knowledge. There's no way you're going to get a shot on those guys. They are not far enough south. There is an opportunity actually to drive up on this little hill right here. You can get up there. I don't know if the mill can. I think it can. You might get shots down onto the T-28, but they're pretty well holed up down there. So we're going to come back this way and follow the scout. Maybe the scout will find something for us to shoot. There we go. So he's proxy lit that guy. That's pretty good because what's happened there is he will proxy light that guy, and then Artie might be following him, right, and watching him. And you're going to actually just follow up his light. Follow up the light's light. Just come up here, auto aim, and boop, down goes the Canard. And I thought that was a great move right there. And that's what you should have been doing a little bit earlier, looking for those kind of opportunities instead of really just sitting around for a bit, pushing tanks around. And then look at this. Holy cow, I would have clipped again. That's another time I would have forced to reload. Okay, fair enough. While you're on the edge, look around a little bit. Okay, yep, nobody there. Be really nice to find somebody. I didn't mention it earlier, but the prototype, there's one of the artillery's trying to splash you. The prototype actually moved a while ago. So here we go. Now we got another shot. So we'll come in here. And, oh, we shoot a little early. And now we just have the one shell, and thank goodness that one actually finds him. 4 kills, fantastic, 1,600 damage. And the T-3045 and Scorpion end up killing the prototype, and good on them. That's good because their other tier 8 was back behind you while you were kind of messing around up here. But it doesn't hurt you. That's a good thing. Hawk 30 gets in there. He's tearing up your artillery. They have 2 artillery. A little bit of a misfire here. Not really sure. The aim was a bit interesting for me on this. All right, so off he goes. All right. When he started to back up, and then you saw his forward movement, I'd have shifted my aim to here. And then I just waited for him to get there, and that little lead fire, and you could have killed him. And you're really just kind of tracking him straight, and that goes right behind him. So anticipate those lead fire requirements. He looked like he was making a runner. Just aim out forward of him. And then this guy shows up, and he's bumming. The Emil finds him, and he's just completely out to lunch. The Hawk 30 gets killed by the Scorpion G, and it's really all over but the shouting right there. 2,106, 5 kills. Let's speed this thing up a little bit. I think you get one more kill. And this was another interesting one for me. So we're going to slow this down. Because I would have also hit C way back there as well. Once I killed the, whatever that 3001 thing. Now we're gonna get a little pickup game of Brothers in Arms. Once I killed that 3001 thing and the Hawk 30 died and I knew I had a long drive to Artie, I'd hit C as I turned around and you'd have been reloaded by the time you got to the Artie. And that's just one of those things, anticipating when you're going to need to reload, how long it may take for you to get to the next hit points. The more you play autoloaders, the better at that you'll get. The good news is now that you only need 1 shell on this guy, so we'll just come around here, use our hit points, soak up a hit, lap him. And we're up to 6 kills, 2,193. So nice game, man. I just think the middle part was a little bit mismanaged in there. There was a couple things you could have done better. And really, you're at that point in your gameplay where you're trying to learn how, first you survive to that part with some hit points. Then you start to learn how to transition, make that close to slight advantage into a win. And after that, you start to learn how to take disadvantages and turn those into wins. And that really is the difference between that 50 and 55% plus player, that you just get better and better at the decision making from mid to late game. First trick is to get to mid to late game. Second trick is to learn what to do. All right, man. Thanks for sending that in. That's a nice game there. 2,193 between you and your, I was going to say platoon mate, but it was a cheesy end game. Brothers in Arms. There should be a little asterisk for all the Brothers in Arms that people pick up from dynamic platoons. But in any event, between you and the Scorpion, nicely done. 10 kills, man. That is all I got, and we will see ya.